Mellow greetings, everybody. My name is James. I'm from the internet. Today we are going to be talking about Texas Governor Greg Abbott. Now, for those who are not aware, Governor Abbott kind of off to a rocky start in 2021. Started with backing the wrong horse in the presidential election and then waiting until the very last minute to finally acknowledge that Biden actually won. Then he followed that up by sitting around and watching ERCOT kill off about 100 people in Austin during the middle of a cold snap. And since then has been taking heat in his state from both the right and the left for a series of small failures that have all added up into a general malaise that just sort of floats around him as he walks around the state capitol building. So, Governor Abbott has decided to pull a rabbit out of his ass, try to get those approval ratings back up, get the people of Texas happy again so that, he can go back on the grift and, not do anything for anybody but himself. I believe that would be the more accurate, correct, legal, non-libelist way of describing how Greg Abbott rolls. Here, take a look. Texas and Mississippi drop COVID-19 restrictions, even mask mandates. That's right. It's starting to get warm out. The cold spell is gone. The government of the state of Texas has gone out in the middle of the night and scooped up all the dead, frozen bodies. And while trying to wipe away the memory of that complete, total, and utter failure by the part of his highly deregulated state, he's decided to appease the people in his party by reopening every last bit of the state. That's right. Pandemic's over, everybody. Texas is open for business. Come on down. Quote, "It is time to open Texas 100%. Texas Governor Greg Abbott said at a press conference on Tuesday, saying, all business of any type can fully open as of next Wednesday. Abbott also said increased COVID-19 testing, personal protective equipment, and vaccines put the state in a far better position than when orders were first issued, and that Texans have mastered the daily habits to avoid getting COVID." Now, before I interject and I start unloading on Governor Greg Abbott here, I just want to give my good friend Science an opportunity to shit on him first. Oh, what's that, Science? You brought your good friend Facts with you? Wow, it's like we're having a party. What does the party look like, guys? Oh, wow. So just yesterday alone, there were almost 7,600 confirmed new cases of COVID in Texas, and another 293 people died of COVID over the last 14 days. They're trending upward anywhere between 30 to 50% statistically, and the warm weather has just begun. Cool. Hey, Science and Facts, I'm going to check back in with you in a little bit. But first, Greg Abbott, are you fucking high? The idea that because PPE exists and there are some vaccines, which a lot of people in your state don't trust and aren't going to take anyway, is somehow going to contain the huge spike of COVID that's going to happen when you start packing restaurants and bars and schools and 100,000 person stadiums for football games and concerts. It's just not going to cut it, Greg. You're going to kill a lot of people. So no, in all actuality, people of Texas and elsewhere, you are in no better position this year than you were in last year. Now, yes, there is currently a very tiny speck of light and ray of hope at the end of a long, dark tunnel. And I can see it. It's over there. But to get there, we're going to have to get, about 80% of the country to decide that vaccines are good enough to go out, get a couple shots in their arm, and then, God forbid, allow for scientists to recalibrate as the virus continues to mutate and possibly release a further set of vaccinations down the road that all people would have to get too. Short of that, we are in no better position today than we were in a year ago. And you can include in that Greg Abbott's now shitty poll numbers. So let's reopen the state and let the death chips fall where they may. Quote, Personal vigilance to follow the safe standards is still needed to contain COVID-19. It's just that now, state mandates are no longer needed. At this time, people and businesses don't need the state telling them how to operate. Ah, yes, the rugged individualism and the lack of regulation that is the hallmark of the Texas state psyche, and pretty much their entire marketing plan, is in full effect. That's right, rugged individualism is going to save you because the government won't. Also, the government in the state of Texas frequently files for emergency funds from the federal government, because they don't like government regulation or government intervention. They just like taking extra federal government money because they do such a shitty job of regulating themselves and taking care of their own people. Quote, Abbott removing a statewide mandate while preaching personal responsibility to prevent the spread of COVID is an abdication of his own personal and professional responsibility to keep Texans safe, said Texas Democratic Party Chair Gilberto Hinojosa. He said in a statement on Tuesday, by removing all previous state mandates and opening the state to 100%, Governor Abbott, who has never taken this pandemic seriously, is doing what he does best, leaving Texans to fend for themselves. Now here is where I'm going to give Governor Abbott a little bit of credit. When COVID started this time last year, he dug in his heels, he dragged ass, he had no plan, he had no ideas, he just decided to let the chips fall where they may, a bunch of people died, and he mostly spent his time managing outrage and his poll numbers. This time around, however, he's going to do all the same exact shit, but he has a plan, and that plan is to blame the dirty, diseased immigrants for making COVID numbers go back up in his state after he reopens everything and tells every last person in the state that they no longer have to wear a mask. That's right, it's not us and our personal responsibility, it's the dirty immigrants. One day after Texas Governor Greg Abbott eliminated most of his state's coronavirus restrictions, the governor claimed immigrants released into his state by federal authorities are helping to spread the virus. No. All of us not wearing masks and sitting shoulder to shoulder in restaurants, loudly yelling into each other's faces while fucking double fisting cheeseburgers and shitty domestic beer? No. That's totally not going to raise the coronavirus numbers. But Joe Biden and the federal government releasing plague rats from Mexico into his fucking state. Oh yeah, that's going to be the thing that fucking kills everybody. Abbott tweeted Wednesday that President Joe Biden's administration is allowing hundreds of undocumented immigrants who tested positive for the coronavirus to enter his state, a claim also made by former House Speaker Newt Gingrich. Now, here's where I'm going to have to check back in with my friends Science and Facts again to remind everybody that there are currently 30 million people living in the state of Texas, all of whom have just been informed that they do not have to socially distance, they do not have to wear masks, and that everything is back open to 100%. And it's cool because there's PPE now, and if you want to keep yourself protected, that's okay, you wear a mask. But nobody else has to wear one, including people who have actually been tested for and are currently positive for COVID. However, a couple hundred people from south of the border coming in who have coronavirus is suddenly going to tip the scales and make the state plague riddled. Why? Because Governor Abbott doesn't understand math. Brownsville spokesperson Felipe Romero told Forbes that 108 migrants tested positive after being dropped off in his city between January 5th and March 1st. Or just over 3 per day, a positivity rate of 6.3%. He then stated that these migrants were advised to quarantine. By comparison, Texas as a whole has reported 294,000 confirmed coronavirus cases in the same period of time, and in recent days, the state has averaged 4,800 daily cases at a positivity rate of just under 9%. Hey, wow, Greg, guess what? If you take a large batch of people, throw them into your state, and only 6.3% of them are testing positive, they're actually going to bring your state's overall positivity rate down. Also, they've been advised to quarantine and wear masks. And since you have stated that nobody in Texas should have to be forced to wear masks or quarantine, if they do or do not choose to do so, they are doing whatever it is they are doing based upon your criteria and advice. The Biden administration is recklessly releasing hundreds of illegal immigrants who have COVID into Texas communities. The Biden administration must immediately end this callous act that exposes Texans and Americans to COVID. You know, the same Texans and Americans who have COVID, who aren't wearing masks and going out, who are exposing other Americans and Texans to COVID. Apparently, they're of no concern. But when the people come from 12 miles south, holy shit, it's a super spreader event. Now, unlike a lot of the blue checkmark shit gibbons on the left, I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, well, look, Texans deserve this. Oh, they deserve to have more COVID because their governor is a piece of crap. Or, oh, they deserve to die in the freezing cold because they don't want to be on a national electric grid. Yeah, that's some shitty, ghoulish stuff, and I don't do that. Nobody in Texas deserves this. Nobody deserves to have a state leadership that abdicates all personal responsibility and then spends all its time looking for fucking scapegoats and ways to get their poll numbers up while standing on top of a stack of newly minted dead bodies. So maybe, just maybe, all of us on the left should be showing more solidarity with all of those people who are stuck in Texas with this guy trying to kill them off for higher polling numbers. Because the more we do that, the quicker and easier it is for the people of Texas to finally get over the hump and vote people like this out of office once and for all. Until next time, my name is James. I am from the internet and I am out. Peace.